welcome to Fighting Over the Remote, a podcast about finding movies to love together. I'm Elissa.
And I'm Robert. Every week one of us chooses what we're watching, and then we discuss the movie, and at the end we give our final ratings. This week I had the remote.
And I was forced to watch, is it Talented Mr. Ripley?
I think it's The Talented
The
Mr.
Talented.
Ripley.
Okay, The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah, I wrote it down for you. It's all right. We mixed up our show notes this week, so it's a little bit more in depth.
Big things are happening over here at Fighting Over the Remote. We're always working. We're always trying to make the podcast better and more enjoyable.
You know, we're so new into this.
Yeah.
That we still have time to play with it.
We sure do.
And make changes.
We can do it whenever we want.
Yeah.
At the drop of a hat. This might turn into a podcast about gossip.
Maybe. I thought you were going to say God. I was like,
it
could. That'd be an interesting.
It could turn into a podcast about
journey.
God. Very different. Very different than what we chat about normally.
Yeah,
but it could.
True.
You never know. Don't get too comfortable, people. We're always shaking things up.
If anything, people listen to us and they're like, they need Jesus.
They need church, maybe.
They need a little bit of God in
Oh,
their
I'm
lives.
sure there's some people out there that would say that. I think probably.
Yeah, let's be honest. They don't listen to the pod. They can tell within 2 minutes.
Yep.
They've already turned off after this discussion.
I maybe would too. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's fair. Should we put 60 seconds on the clock and
so
you
I can do the summary?
And you
I guess
give your phone?
I have to do it. You have your watch, but I'll do my phone.
Oh, that's true. I do have my watch.
No, it's okay. I'm doing it. It's okay.
No, it's all right.
No, it's fine.
No, it's okay.
I'm already doing it.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm going. Are you ready?
Well,
I need to be ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get
Okay, The Talented Mr. Ripley stars Matt Damon and Jude Law and a couple of other wonderful actors and actresses. And Matt Damon plays Talented Mr. Ripley, who is this kid who is wanting to be a pianist in New York. And he borrows a jacket from someone that's a Princeton jacket and then begins to fake that he knows someone from Princeton who is this guy's son, Greenleaf. And then the dad, tells him that he wants Ripley to go to Italy to trick his son into coming back home. And then he goes to Italy and he meets Dickie, and then he starts to realize he loves him, and then he starts acting like him, and then he kills him, and then he kills a couple of other people in his midst of trying to fake being Dickie, and then he is on a boat.
Yes.
This is a sucker of a one to try to summarize in 60 seconds, to be honest.
You know, I was wondering how you were going to pull that off, because the first 40 seconds of your summary were devoted to the first 10 minutes of the movie.
You got to get the setup, because if I just said he's friends with the guy and he goes there, then that doesn't give you anything, right?
That's true. That's
true. So I had to kind of expound upon that.
Yeah. Emphasis on he kills some people.
Emphasis on he kills some people for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emphasis on the fact that he is a psychopath, and I didn't mention that, but he is.
Yeah, total psychopath.
Definitely.
I think a big reason why I wanted to watch this movie is that it's like one of those movies that every time I watch it, I get a different experience out of it. Uh-huh. I think the first time I watched this movie, I was probably like 18, so I don't think I really realized that he was quite as like creepy and malicious as he is the second time I watched it. And then the more times I watch it, the more I see like his like sinister like.
Yeah.
Because like the first time you watch this, you're kind of like, why did he do that? Like a lot. Yeah. Because he makes a lot of decisions in this movie that make seemingly no sense, but they come back later. Yeah. Well, that was something that Robert and I talked about when we were watching. It was like, how much of this did he plan ahead of time? Yeah, because a lot of times it felt like he was just flying by the seat of his pants. But I don't think he was. That's why I'm like, kind of like, maybe I need to read the book, because I want to know how much of this he's like figuring out ahead of time before he works on his, I'm curious how much of the book is similar to this. Yeah, and there's more books too, which I'd want to read. Yeah. Or is the movie multiple books squished into one, do you know? Or is it just the first one? I think... It's got to be a couple, right? I think there are multiple books. I know I said that really confidently when we were watching the movie. I think there are. Oh, okay. Yeah, there are a few, but I just wondered if it was
all squished into this movie if they're...
I think Talented Mr. Ripley is like the story of the movie. Well, the first book I think is called Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh, okay.
And then people love that character so much that she wrote more books about him.
Got it.
But yeah, I mean, this movie just like, I mean, I know I'm like the action guy, but I think thriller is my favorite movie choice. Like, I love a mystery. I love like a
when you
twisty,
said thriller,
torny.
For some reason, I was just torny. I was just picturing thriller. I don't know why, but go on. Sorry, you love thrillers.
Yeah, I just love thrillers. This is one of my favorite thrillers. I love like movie star performances. And this movie just has like 5.
So many of them.
Has 5 movie stars before they are like full-fledged movie stars.
Yeah. Wait, can I interrupt you for just 1 second? Just to come back to what we were just talking about?
So let's go.
Okay. There are 5 novels.
Oh, okay.
So there's... Oh, wow. There's multiple movies. Purple Noon from the 1960s and then Talented Mr. Ripley. Yeah, but there are 5 books. The first one's Talented Mr. Ripley, and then there are 4 other ones. Sorry, just had to say that for anyone that was curious about that, like I was. Anyways, go on.
I'll have to check out the novel because I do really love this movie. This movie's like one of my like all-time favorite. Like, I know it has its flaws, but I fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
You know? And like I said, I just love a movie star, and this movie has 5 like certified movie stars just before they are super famous.
Right.
They are all beautiful. An exception might be made for Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I think in his own way he is a beautiful person. And it's just such like, it's just one of those movies like, oh shit, all 5 of these people, you like see it.
Yeah.
You're like, every scene with all 5 of them, they are just like magnetic. And it's like, it says something that like Matt Damon is probably the least magnetic performance of the 5 in my opinion. And yet he still like does a fine job of carrying the movie.
Yeah.
If you can hear some banging in the background, our downstairs neighbor has a drum set. I can feel it in my feet.
We were thinking he was done, but I guess he's still going.
Yeah, we
had to stop.
We delayed the taping about 30 minutes waiting for him to stop.
Waiting for him to stop playing the drums.
Now he's hitting the kick drum again. I can feel it in my feet. And then the main reason I wanted to choose this one is because Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away 10 years ago this month. And so...
And you like him a lot. He's one of your favorites.
Yes, yeah. He's one of my favorites, but it's interesting because like the movies he's in are usually not my favorite movies. He's in a lot of movies that I think are really good, but they're not like movies that I love. This is and like we watched Boogie Nights together a few years ago.
Yeah,
like that one, like I think about that movie all the time. And he's really good in that one too.
Yeah. What about him do you like? If you don't really like the movies he's in, but you like him, what?
I'm really drawn to character actors more so than, like I love a movie star performance, but like, like a George Clooney performance versus like a Daniel Day-Lewis or Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's weird the guys with 3 names tend to be really good actors.
Like the guys with 3 names, I guess.
Oh, I love a 3-name boy.
What's the woman from Ocean's 8 who's a character actress? I can't think of her name right now.
Not Cate Blanchett. Oh, you mean
Yeah.
She was married to Tim Burton.
I can picture her face.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, I love Helena Bonham Carter. Why do they always have 3 names?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because they come from divorced households, and so
What makes you think they're divorced?
Well, if they have hyphens in their names.
That doesn't mean they're divorced.
Doesn't mean they're divorced, but there's a decent chance.
No, I feel like normally it's
children of divorce. Leave us a comment. Let us know.
Normally, kids that have hyphenated names are just parents that either were not married in the first place or they wanted to share their last names. Yeah. So maybe they're from families who were more... words are lost on me lately. That are more...
I guess like more artistic leaning families would be...
More liberal in their like gender roles.
Family structures.
Their gender roles. Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah, I mean, Helena Bonham Carter is from a family of actors, I think. I know Gwyneth Paltrow's parents are producers. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Daniel Day-Lewis's parents are poets or something like that. But yeah, I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. He has like such a magnetic acting style. Like everything he's in, you completely lose him in the role. And Daniel Day-Lewis is the same way. I think Robert De Niro is the same way.
Yeah.
DiCaprio is that way in a lot of things. Although
these people with the three names, I guess.
I guess
Minus
so.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, either the three names or they have the duh in it. the three or duhs. I just really wanted to watch a movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I was looking at his IMDb, and this is one of the ones that I thought you would like the most. He has a few other ones that we'll probably get to eventually.
It's interesting that you picked this and he's in it for so little.
But
you've just wanted to see this movie for a while, though.
He fucking just, like, the second his character is introduced, like when he gets out of that car and he like sees the women walking by and he goes, God, doesn't every woman you see make you just want to fuck her once, or whatever he says?
Which is funny because he's gay.
I think he is pansexual, bisexual. I think he...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
I don't get that vibe at all, but okay.
I think he fucks anything that moves.
Interesting. I still don't get that vibe.
There's a few lines in the movie that refer to him sleeping around with women.
Yeah, but sometimes when men are still in the closet, that's what they do. I'm not trying to shame him at all. I'm just saying. Well... But
men can be both. They can like men and women.
Yeah, I'm not stupid. I know that. But
why are you arguing with me?
Because he played... he played to me a very stereotypical depiction of a gay man. He had like a gay man voice that he put on. It just felt like he was playing like a very stereotypical gay man. It was like a straight man playing a gay man. I don't know if he was gay at all in real life or not, so maybe he was. But just watching it, it felt like it was it was like a lot of flamboyancy of like trying to present as a gay man. That's just why
I didn't get the specifically gay vibe at all, but
Really?
I mean, I got the like interested in men part, but I didn't think he was like exclusively gay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but had you ever heard of this movie before? I mean, like, I know I've mentioned it before, but before...
I think I've definitely heard of it. I've heard the title before you've said it. Mm-hmm. And it sounds familiar to me. Like, it doesn't sound like a foreign name of a movie. But I honestly had no idea what it was about going into it. Like, I thought maybe it was about a guy who was like, for some reason I thought I knew something about there being jazz in it or something, so I thought maybe he was like in a jazz band or something. I don't know. I didn't know anything about it, really. So I didn't know it was a thriller, and I
tried to keep that specifically like a secret from you because I didn't want any of the plot spoiled for you, because I think that it's a singular experience, like the first time you watch it.
Yeah, totally. I think, well, what's interesting is that, hold on, I'm just talking gibberish. I really enjoy thrillers, but for some reason I don't actively seek them out. I don't really know why, but like, I really liked, I really like the movies that are adapted from Agatha Christie novels. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy those a lot. I really liked this. I really like movies like this.
Did you like Gone Girl when we watched it?
Yeah, I love Gone Girl. I've seen it before. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I really like stuff like that because it's very much like you have no idea what's going to happen. You can just extrapolate and try to guess. Yeah. But like you're kind of flying at the seat of your pants and it's exciting.
Yeah, I love thrillers. I like mystery novels and I like Agatha Christie novels because I like trying to figure out like, okay, I know they've given me the information I need to solve this case. Can I do it? And I never can.
Whenever we watched the show After Party, Robert would just try to solve it the entire time instead of just watching. Every time. You were. I think I was too, though. I don't really feel like I ever got it right, but
I think like the second to last episode, I would finally be like, oh, okay, I know who did it, but yeah,
takes a while. Yeah, but you definitely really enjoy the figuring it out part. Did you wait when you watched this for the first time? Is this when you saw it for the first time? Did you expect what happened to happen, or?
No, I didn't know anything about it. The first time I watched this, the only thing I knew was that everybody thought that Jude Law was like the hottest person on earth after this movie.
Really?
That's yeah, so this movie is like Jude Law after this movie was like one of the hottest people on the planet. And I think at the time I had like a small crush on Gwyneth Paltrow when I first saw this.
She's such a cutie.
Yeah, I mean,
and this
90s, early 2000s Gwyneth Paltrow is like one of my favorite actresses ever.
There were also so many women in that time period that were just so gorgeous, and
that
felt like it was maybe before they just started eating almonds for 3 meals every day. Like they weren't really aware of it yet.
Yeah. I mean, to catch like all 5 of the main actors in this movie at this point in time,
that's pretty incredible.
It's just like this movie's such like a time capsule. Like here, just like 5 superstars right before they hit it.
Yeah.
And I think I just really love that. Before we get into our categories, there was one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and that was that they are adapting this into a TV series.
Which you mentioned,
Would you like to guess who's playing Ripley? When I say it, you're going to be like, a fucking course.
Can you give me like a hint? Can you give me like a couple of guesses? Like,
he is one of your primary...
Is it Paul Mescal?
Close.
Is it Andrew Scott?
It's Andrew Scott.
Shut the fuck up. Andrew Scott's playing Ripley?
Yep. And then the role of Dickie Greenleaf is played by another...
Paul Mescal.
Another pod favorite. This one...
Robert De Niro.
What? Oh yeah,
I said Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro playing Dickie Greenleaf.
I think we need to like we need to do like a
montage. You can be a fucking leech, you know.
Yeah, no, we need to do a montage of all the times you say Robert De Niro on the pod. It would be 5 minutes long.
You could do a drinking game. People would end up vomiting. I will give you a hint. He is from a TV series that we watched together.
That does not narrow it down whatsoever.
It was a small love story about a boy who gets chlamydia.
Oh, it's from Love something. Lovesick.
Johnny
the blonde guy. The blonde guy.
He's playing Dickie Greenleaf.
That's a great show, by the way. If you haven't seen Lovesick, it's really good.
It seems like they went a little older.
Wait, he's playing Dickie?
Yeah. It seems like they went a little older and a little less beautiful for this, which I kind of like.
Conventionally attractive, we should say, because they're so beautiful. It's just...
That's true.
They're not like... I guess they're not a Matt Damon or a whatever.
That's a good catch, yeah. Less conventionally attractive. And then Marge Sherwood is being played by Dakota Fanning, which I'm stoked about. I love Dakota Fanning.
Okay, interesting. Do they have anyone... I know they made up the character of Meredith for the movie, but do they have anyone...
Oh, did they? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they did. They created that character.
There are a few... It hasn't been shot yet. There's a few like promo pictures with Andrew Scott, but that's about it.
I'll have to go look at the promo photos.
Here's one.
Oh my god. No, this is bad because I'm still gonna want to make out with his face, even if he's a psychopath. That's unfortunate.
Oh, it's coming on April 4th.
This year?
To Netflix.
Oh shit.
That's what the poster says.
Excuse me. I will be unavailable on April 4th, everyone. I will be watching that, unfortunately. So.
I don't know if that's actually coming out. I haven't really heard anything about that. I just saw it when I was looking this up.
Yeah, so...
But yeah, I thought that was...
That's
pretty cool.
insane.
I'm stoked for that.
I did not know that at all.
It's going to be an 8-episode miniseries, which I think is exactly what this movie needs, because this movie moves so lightning fast, and it's pretty long. It's not a short movie.
But it doesn't move super fast right at the beginning, but like as soon as the ball gets rolling, you're like, it's like ping pong. It's like,
oh my god, now he killed him. Oh my god, now he killed him.
No, he did. Just to go back to what I just said, yeah, the character Meredith was invented for the film. The character did not have analog, which I don't really know exactly what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
But I think the character wasn't really present in the book. But Cate Blanchett was really interested in playing the character of Meredith in the movie, so they cast her, and then they expanded the role for her.
Oh, yeah, because once you get Cate Blanchett, you can't,
you got it. Well, and I'm sure she was like, I'll do anything, like, just, I'd love to be in this. So then they were like, we gotta give her some more lines. We gotta...
It's one of those ones where I wish I had been, like, 20 years old when this came out, so I could, like, have seen... I wish I could have seen the discourse around this movie when it was released.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is, like, if in 2018 somebody made a movie with like Timothy Chalamet, Saoirse Ronan, like Paul Mescal, like just all these people who are like...
It's Mescal?
Mescal.
Yeah. I got it wrong the other day in a TikTok and I realized later. So if he watched that, I don't think he wants to date me anymore, unfortunately, because I don't know how to pronounce his name.
That son of a bitch.
I know.
Quit pronouncing your name wrong, Mescal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think I would have loved to have seen the discourse around this movie.
Totally.
And see like somebody being like, oh my God, Cate Blanchett. Oh my God, I loved her in this small role. She's going to fucking kill it in this. And
it sounds like you just want to have an orgy with all the main actors of this movie. Just you and them.
I'm just saying, if that was proposed to everybody, I would not be the one saying no.
You would be in for it.
I would be there by myself in a room waiting for everybody.
For all just checking your watch. Guys, I brought some alcohol, so just waiting to see when you guys are going to show up. I brought some cookies. I don't know what people are into. They're gluten-free, dairy-free. Seeing if they're going to show up.
Yeah. Well, should we get into a little bit more specific discussion about the movie?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
My voice went really high there.
Huh?
Should we get a little I wanted to talk about... I mean, we've been talking about it a lot, but I did want to like specifically talk about the acting first.
Yeah,
just because I think that's like the thing that I take away from this movie the most.
Yeah.
Is just the performances.
Yeah.
Did you think they were... good? I think every time I watch this, I switch back and forth on whether or not I thought Matt Damon was good, but I think everybody else is incredible.
No, I thought everyone was great. I mean, personally, obviously, I'm a woman and I just really like watching women act. I thought Gwyneth Paltrow was the best.
She's my favorite actor in this movie.
It was insane the presence of doom on her face, like the way that she was able to depict the feeling of completely misbelieving just being like,
yeah.
And the switch too. She goes from saying like, oh, I love you, Tom, I love you, blah, 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 whatever, to looking at him with such disgust and anger. It's insane. And like, you can even watch her put all of the pieces together one by one. Like she's like when they're at the opera house, she's like slowly like, you're here with Dickie? And he's like, oh no, I'm not, or whatever. It's just like she's slowly like putting the pieces together. Oops. Oh, I do want to say, like, we didn't really talk about the plot that much.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Is there something in here for that? We're kind of moving around things in the pod, so we're flying by the seat of our pants for this one a little bit, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, I did think the acting was really awesome and very involved. Like, I think it's really hard as an actor to keep everything in mind for something like this because it is so detailed and specific. And as an actor watching it, I was also thinking about how, like, they didn't shoot this in order. The odds that they shot everything in order is very slim. Like, that doesn't really happen, which was really fun learning that when you become older and you're an actor and like you're wanting to act and you realize that you have to just really get up there and just do whatever you can because you're not really shooting in a chronological order. But anyway, thinking about that really blew my mind because they could have been shooting the scenes with her like that are at the end first.
Yeah.
And the fact that it like her acting is such a through line for the whole movie is just like, I don't know, just blows my mind. And I wish she would have stayed in acting and not created a company that tries to sell you a bunch of snake oil, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I think Gwyneth Paltrow, like today, I don't think people realize how great of an actress she really is. I don't know if she still has it, obviously, because she hasn't really been in much lately, but I mean,
have she done anything?
At this point in time, like she was in the adaptation of Emma in the 90s.
She was pretty good in that.
And she was in Talented Mr. Ripley, and I really hate what her career has become. Yeah. And I mean, she's filthy rich, so I'm not going to say she wasn't successful. I mean, I think her company's a little sketchy, but I think like her career hasn't been a failure by any means. But I wish she had stayed with the like critically acclaimed acting. You know what I mean? Because
she did a voice for American Horror Stories, it says.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, she was in a movie in 2022 that I've never heard of. Okay, interesting. She's been in a few things here and there, I guess.
Yeah, but she was in
Avengers?
Yeah, she plays Pepper Potts.
I don't know who Pepper Potts is.
It's Robert Downey Jr.'s love interest. I don't know if they get married or what, but
Pepper Potts.
Oh my God, there's so many motorcycles driving by.
Oh my goodness.
God. Sorry,
I'm Pepper Potts.
The world around us is not working with us today.
It sounds too much like Peppa Pig. I'm Pepper Potts.
She's a comic book character.
You know, she's been in a lot, but it really is not that much. I thought Matt Damon was really great in this, and for some reason, it really fit him. Like, I think if you told me at the beginning of the movie that he played a psychopath, I'd be like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But I think that that's what it is, right? He's so good at tricking people into thinking he's not a psychopath that he actually plays a very, very good psychopath. A very, I cannot think of words lately. I think I might have had COVID and I didn't know it, or something.
You got
My brain's
brain
just
fog.
rotting in there. Just kidding.
Yeah, I think
no, hold on. What's the word though? Like the I believed that he was a psychopath. What's the word for that?
He was believable? I don't know.
No, it starts with an I.
What?
It starts with an I.
Does it help? I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to say.
I don't know. I want to say enticing, but that's not the word. Whatever. It's okay. We can move on.
Sorry, I don't know what you're trying to say.
You're not helping me out figuring out the word.
Like I said, I mean, I have a different opinion of his acting every time I watch it. This time around, I did think he was pretty good.
Interesting that you think he.
I think sometimes I watch it and I see that he's acting within a performance.
Well, that's because he's playing I think that's why it's so good to me, is because he is playing normal.
Yeah.
He's having to play someone who is a psychopath but is normal. Normal is playing normal. There's so many levels to that. That's crazy.
I wonder what his day-to-day life was before the events of this movie.
The character?
Yeah. Because I mean, he clearly had the capability of becoming rich with his con artisting.
He also knew how to kill people pretty well. So
what do you mean he just bludgeoned them?
He freaking flattened and choked that one guy.
Oh, yeah.
But he knew the process pretty well. He knew to freaking push the boat out, sink the boat, and to get all of his stuff out. He knew to clean off the statue after he bludgeoned.
Yeah.
What was that character's name?
Freddie Miles.
It was Freddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The cleanup he knew a little bit too well. So, I'm wondering, I wonder if this is in the book, or, did he have other, men that he looked up to that he wanted to be like, that he kind of, used to advance himself into positions and, money, and then killed them?
I think Matt Damon's just playing so many characters in this role that some of the characters I find less believable than others. And I think that's
interesting.
And I think I'll fixate on the 10% of this movie where I don't think he's having a good performance. But I think when he is playing the parts where he's in love with Dickie and all he wants is to impress Dickie, I think those are really good.
Those are crazy.
Especially 1997 Matt Damon being able to pull this out of his pocket. I mean, he's great in Good Will Hunting too, so I guess.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Fun fact.
I mean, I think you would like it. It's not one of those movies that I'm like, oh, you have to see Good Will Hunting, but
I just get sad watching Robin Williams movies.
You would definitely cry during Good Will Hunting.
Oh, 100%. I think that's why I haven't watched it. It's because I know that it'll bring me to my knees, make me a little too sad.
Yeah, but Matt Damon's great. Gwyneth Paltrow's incredible.
Jude Law's great.
Yeah, I think part of what makes all these performances so good is that they have to play multiple characters. Jude Law is playing lovable playboy, and then he also has to play he hates his best friend. And then he has to play that guy who like kind of despises Tom, even if he likes being doted upon.
But it's not his best friend. He doesn't know the guy.
I think there are periods in this movie where he's best friends with. We don't know how long the events of this movie are.
That's true, but I mean, I get the sense that it's, I don't know. I mean, it's weird, right? Like part of it is like you have to wonder the amount of like attraction that these two characters have. Because it's apparent, but there's also something about like that feeling that like someone thinks they know you really well and you don't know them at all, and it's really uncomfortable because you don't know how to be like, you don't really actually know me at all.
Yeah.
It's even weirder when it's a psychopath and you have to try to explain. I mean, you don't really see Ripley lean into that until he starts killing people. You know what I mean?
Being a psychopath or what?
Yeah, like his actions, he's not like... Before he kills Dickie, there's not really a lot of situations where he is acting like that, except for maybe when he's like in Dickie's clothes, in Dickie's room, which is kind of weird.
I think
like he crosses
moment,
boundaries, but he doesn't like...
I think the first moment you really see it is when he's listening to Dickie and Marge talk outside, and then he impersonates them, like when he's by himself and he does their voices. I think that is when that's when it like first clocks. I mean, like the listening to jazz and memorizing the records is weird, but I think when he impersonates them, that's when I'm like, oh, this guy's like full on.
I think the jazz record thing is kind of tricky because when I watched it for the first time, I was like, oh, he's just trying to pretend like he knows the guy. Like that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
But when I'm sure when you rewatch it, you're like, what a little creepy guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It would be interesting, like, to do a repod of this, like, in, like, a year.
Yeah, to see
how you see it differently, like, the second time.
Yeah.
Because it is a very different experience when you know what's coming. Like, the Peter Smith Kingsley character, like, every time I watch this, I think he is nicer and nicer, and it makes me more sad that he dies at the end.
He's so sweet.
Yeah, so that... Should we talk about, like, so, like, I've told you that Jude Law is, like, considered smoking hot in this movie, but it seemed like you didn't really feel it.
No, it's not that. I think Jude Law is very attractive. I don't think I'm really attracted to the type of character he was playing.
That's fair, yeah. I mean, he's a piece of shit in the movie.
Yeah. So. I'm also into men that are a little bit larger.
Are you calling me fat?
No, it's not that at all. It's just like they were talking about, we were looking at IMDb facts and stuff sometimes before you listen to the pod, or before record the pod. And it said something like both him and Matt Damon lost a bunch of weight before this movie, which I was kind of like, was that really necessary? I don't really know if that was necessary. I don't really think weight loss and weight gain is really necessary for movies, but that's beside the point. Anyways, you could just cast the right person for the role, but that's beside the point. Anyways,
take a shot every time you say that's beside the point.
Anyways, yeah, I'm just personally not super attractive to men that look like they couldn't pick me up.
Attracted.
I'm also not attractive to them probably either.
That's their loss.
No, but like I legitimately, like that's not, I'm not trying to be funny. Like I look at a man and if he doesn't look like he could like sling me over his shoulder, I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
I need someone who can throw me around a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I like understand.
He said, yeah.
I think I understand the attraction to Jude Law in this movie. But
he did look like Harry Styles a lot in this. We talked about it. Like there were like a couple of shots where I was like, oh my god, he looks like Harry Styles. I think people have compared them before and I never saw it, but then watching the movie I was like, every now and then I was
could see Harry Styles in a modern version of this role.
Yeah, or something.
If they like decided to just cast a bunch of beautiful people.
Oh my god, I would watch it.
I don't know who the modern
hard
Tom Ripley would be though. If they did like the conventionally beautiful.
Paul Mescal. I would watch that.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I feel like it'd have to be someone who's a little bit string beanier.
Yeah, I think what makes Matt Damon so good in this or like so good at this role is that he just looks like such an all-American boy.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, that's what makes him being a psychopath so like, oh.
I was gonna say Jacob Elordi, but he's a little bit too overbearing.
I think he's
like
too
he's
tall
too
and menacing. Yeah.
I think it would be too easy.
It wouldn't be a surprise when he turns.
No, because he's such a good, like, scary face.
Yeah.
He's good at making scary faces. Intimidating.
I would love to see Jacob Elordi as the Freddie Miles character. I think that would be really funny.
Or he would be good as Peter Smith Kingsley. Little cutie,
that's true.
Sweetie.
I think Paul Mescal would kill it as Peter Smith Kingsley.
I'm just picturing his face. Sorry, anyways. But we didn't really talk about, like, what's the word that they use in nominations?
Like the other nominees?
Supported.
Oh, like best supporting.
Best supported.
Yeah.
Best supporting. The supporting cast of characters.
What did you think about the Philip Seymour Hoffman role?
Like I said before, like I felt like he was playing a stereotypical gay man, and it felt kind of forced to me. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, because I don't get that vibe at all.
Please hold.
I just think he fucking kills it.
What's his name again?
Freddie Miles.
No, like, guy.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Sorry, I get them. Paul Thomas Anderson and them I get confused for someone.
He's in a lot of
I don't
Paul
know
Thomas
why.
Anderson movies.
Oops. Okay, well, first of all, in this image, he walks around with his hand like this all the time. I don't know any gay men.
I think he's mocking
He's
Tom
not,
Ripley.
though. He does this throughout the movie all the time.
Okay, I mean,
it just feels. I'm not trying to knock on Philip Seymour Hoffman. It just feels like to me that he is forcing this gay man. Yeah, like he like always has his hands here. He has like a voice. He has kind of like a laugh that he does. And obviously like that's part of character development. I don't know. There's just something about it that feels...
I don't think we're going to agree on this at all. So
that's fine. We don't have to agree on it. But I'm trying to like see... I want to like see... I just want...
Yeah, just watch the little walk he does when he gets out of the car. It is very like... It's very effeminate, but I don't think it's gay.
Okay, but he is playing a game man. So.
I don't think he's exclusively gay.
I don't know why you say... Okay.
Because he fucks other women in this movie.
But so what is Dickie Greenleaf then?
I think he's bi-curious. I don't think he's...
You don't think he's fucked Freddy before?
I think they probably had a threesome or something.
To me, it feels like a big part of this movie is watching men who are maybe more so, like, look at the way he's walking. It just, to me, like, watching it feels like I'm watching a straight man playing a gay man. That's what it feels like to me. Which maybe that was his intent, maybe it wasn't. But to me, a big part of the movie is this misunderstanding at this time period that these men that were like higher class couldn't be gay. They had to be straight. That's part of what feels like is happening within the storyline.
Okay.
So they're getting engaged to women. They're getting married to women, and they're gay. And they keep living out the gay side of their life while they're married to a woman, which is a choice.
Okay.
But I feel like that's commentary on the movie itself, right? So, like, they talk about, like, when they're in the, they make a comment about Freddy being engaged to a bunch of women. And it's like a joke when they're at the police station. It's like a joke that he's been engaged to a bunch of women. To me, that's what it felt like, is like these men are pretending to be straight and they are getting engaged to women because it looks better to these people that are high class. So it just feels like his character is more gay to me.
Okay.
I think it turned me off a little bit.
Okay, so you didn't love the Philip Seymour Hoffman performance, which is fine.
I mean, his character was a dick. obviously.
Well, his character was very unlikable, and then he was extremely over the top. I understand why you don't like him. I just kind of like that he's such a caricature.
Yeah, he's definitely playing a caricature for sure.
What about Cate Blanchett? How'd you feel about Meredith Logue?
I mean, I thought she was great.
Yeah, I think she's really only in the movie for like 5 minutes of screen time. Yeah,
she's very beautiful in it. And she also, like, I mean, like her acting, not just her as a person. Obviously, she is gorgeous. But she played the acceptance of being let down very honestly. Mm-hmm. It felt very real. Like, she just keeps going after him, which is another, like, that's very relatable.
Yeah.
This feeling of just like, well, maybe this time he'll like me.
I love how her character is constantly saying, like, she hates wealth.
Yeah, and then she's going to the opera in this beautiful dress. And yeah.
And I think that's why she falls for Ripley so hard. Although she thinks he's Greenleaf, but...
Right, well, he's also doing the same fucking thing. That's a really funny part of this movie is, like, the commentary on high-class individuals and how that, like, that's what they do. They're like, oh, I just hate money. I just, like, hate having so much money. And then they're, like, living in Italy.
Yeah, and shopping.
And
going to the bank, getting cash.
Yeah, cashing out thousands of dollars.
I love Italian money. It's so dark. You never feel guilty spending it. She says something like that.
Oh, yeah, and then they go on the shopping spree together and stuff. Yeah, they're just dropping thousands of dollars on everything, and it's totally normal for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think she steals every second that she's on screen.
Yeah, I'm glad that they put her in this.
Yeah.
And I really love the part on the ship. It's so sad, though.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to Jack Davenport, who plays Peter Smith Kingsley. I think
he's really good in this.
I think he's really, really good at this specific character. Yeah, I just think he's... I mean, I think he's really good. I think... this time I was really looking forward to him coming on screen because this movie is so heavy and he is like a little spritz of...
One better plot point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's so sweet, and it breaks my heart every time I watch the ending.
Yeah.
Because he's the one person who loves Ripley for Ripley.
I know. And he's listing out all the good things about him while Ripley actively kills him.
Yeah. All right, should we get into a discussion about the plot of the movie?
And did you want to talk about your best performances? You have that on here.
We've touched about those a lot. I mean, I think Gwyneth Paltrow was the best one, and I think everybody had a really strong performance. I don't think... I think we've said all that needs to be said. What did you think about the plot? Because it kind of starts slow, and then it just, like, goes crazy fast.
I mean, I had no idea what was going on, obviously. Like, it was so intricate, and, yeah, it just kind of takes off so fast, and... you're kind of left with whiplash as things like start to unfold.
I think this time I was kind of feeling impatient for the first murder. I just like really wanted to get
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. I mean, I knew something weird was happening as soon as he started he started doing the handwriting. He started doing the different voices and his impersonations of other people. Honestly, this movie reminded me a lot of White Lotus and just its way that it builds up suspense and like everything seems fine and you're learning more about these characters and then it all kind of comes to a head and like slowly falls apart.
Yeah.
Well, quickly falls apart. The whole act of Dickie Greenleaf is really interesting because you see Ripley fall in love with him but also hate him at the same time. Like, you can see him actively hate the way that he treats Marge. He, like, really hates the way he treats her and is, like, trying to defend her all the time. But then it kind of flips when he finds out about Sylvana and how she died.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I won't tell anyone, Dickie. I won't tell anyone on you. Like, it's totally fine. Like, I've got your back. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, it feels like it's going to be a slow burn, and then they just throw you into a boiling pot of water.
Yeah.
It's definitely a roller coaster. What do you think about like the other like writing aspects of the movie? Do you like the dialogue?
Yeah, I think the dialogue was kind of off-putting at first between Dickie and Ripley and Marge because, I mean, obviously it was set in is it the 50s or the 60s?
I think it's the 50s.
50s. So, like, obviously they're using a little bit of, not a dialect, but like a little bit of something there within their voices. But then they're also speaking as if they know this person, which, like, as the viewer, you're like, you don't know this guy. Why are you talking to him like that? Like, why did you invite him to stay, or like to like come over and then eventually stay with you? So the dialogue is a little bit interesting, and like obviously we don't know the span of time that he's there with them, that Ripley's there with them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought the dialogue was very poetic at times, which somehow felt fitting in a way, which was kind of weird because I don't think I would have expected it to be that way. Like not a lot of the lines, but some of the lines, which I don't remember specifically, were very like nail on the head, like foreshadowing, and like they would like say something that like would come back later a lot, which I love when people write stuff like that. It's like little Easter eggs for the viewer throughout the movie. Yeah, I mean, I thought the writing was really good. Obviously, it's nice to have the backing of a book for a film so that you're not just,
right,
going off of whatever. Because I don't think you could write a movie like this without a book behind it, because there's just so much intricacies that I feel like would be really difficult to just write out of thin air and then put into a movie.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that the director adapted the screenplay as well, so the directing and the writing, like, both
that's good.
Worked really well hand in hand. I think the directing of the movie, I don't know if it was just because we were watching it for the pod or what, but I think I noticed like the flourishes he uses a little bit more this time around. There's a lot of camera movement, a lot of like
kind of weird transitions to stuff.
And I think that kind of speaks to, like, he really hasn't directed a ton. He's not like a really prolific director. He's only directed like a handful of things.
Okay.
But he's directed some really big movies.
I don't recognize his name.
He directed The English Patient, which is probably his biggest movie, and then he directed Cold Mountain, which is like a is it Renee Zellweger? It's somebody like that. That's just another. He writes like dramas.
He directs them.
Like,
does he write them all too? Is he also writing?
Yeah,
these?
I think he's usually the writer as well.
That's a lot of work.
When you go to IMDb, you have to like click a special thing to get to his directing because he has so many writing credits.
That's also, I think, kind of a comforting thing if you're writing, because you don't have to contact the writer to change things. You can just do whatever you want.
And if you want to change things on set, you can just change them.
Let the actors improvise and change things where you see fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the movie does a pretty good job of alternating between like being like Call Me by Your Name and Gone Girl.
Yeah,
it has to do both at the same
time. It definitely has, Call Me by Your Name definitely has some homages to this movie. I just kept getting White Lotus. It just reminded me so much of White Lotus, like the forbearing music and the transitions and the random B-roll shots that would kind of pop up of the scenery in between stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the music really gives like a White Lotus vibe, because it's
creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy. And
it
wants
gets
you to
too
pay
loud.
attention.
It gets too loud sometimes. You're kind of like, oh.
Yeah, but like when it wants you to pay attention to what Ripley's doing, because the music comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so you've never seen like The English Patient or Cold Mountain or any of those?
No, I have not. Who's in The English Patient? I don't know that one.
The English Patient won like Academy Awards.
Oh, I know. It sounds familiar. I just don't.
It's Ralph Fiennes when Ralph Fiennes was hot, and Juliette Binoche. I don't know. I've never seen the English version.
Wait, let me see.
Oh, it's got Kristen Scott Thomas from Mission Impossible.
Oh, yeah, from Fleabag, too. I don't know, Juliet.
At the close of World War II, a young nurse tends to a badly burned plane crash victim. His past is shown in flashbacks, revealing an involvement in a fateful love affair. Yeah, but the English Patient's a really famous movie, and then Cold Mountain, I think, was like a well-regarded movie.
Well, I've heard of Truly, Madly, Deeply before, too.
Yes, that one I had that one written down as well.
Who's in that one?
I didn't know the female lead, but it's Alan Rickman passes away, and his partner, like, sees him as a ghost, and he, like, helps her get over his death.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Apparently it's pretty good.
That sounds good.
But I've never seen it. Alan Rickman's a stud, though. Gotta love Alan Rickman. R.I.P. Yeah, I mean, unless you have anything else to discuss, I think I'm ready to get into scores.
Well, I think I just really liked this movie. I think it kept me entertained and surprised and shocked. I was kind of at the end of my seat. Is that what it?
Yeah, you're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, that's not the right word. I don't think I knew I was gonna like it, obviously, because I had no idea what it was about. Because you didn't give me any hints or anything, which I'm glad you didn't, because I enjoyed finding things out as it happened. Yeah, I don't know. It's just such a jam-packed movie, and all of the times where he was like about to get caught made me so stressed, but in like such a exhilarating way. The way he was like, oh, this is the time. This is when he's gonna get caught. And it's like every time he's like when they're at the opera, and then oh, and we didn't even talk about like what actually happens to the story, but like basically Ripley gets away with everything from what you can tell.
Yeah.
And like I thought the end of the movie was when he's talking to the police officer and Greenleaf is taking Marge back to New York with him. And like they have that whole altercation, Marge and Ripley.
Yeah.
I thought that was the end of the movie. I was like, okay, so it's over. And then because you're like, he's getting off scot-free. Ripley just, at that point, in that moment of time, he gets off scot-free, and the police officer is basically like, yeah, Greenleaf is just paying everyone off.
Yeah.
Because that's what people with money can do, which is really funny when you think about Dickie and how Dickie was quote unquote like over his dad's money and was like tired of his dad's money.
Yeah.
And then when he dies, his dad just throws money at everything. And like finding out like, oh, Dickie like nearly killed a kid when he was in school. When you find out that, I can't remember, was Ripley did go to Princeton and he knew Dickie?
No. So the private investigator played by Philip Baker Hall.
Private investigator, yeah. I kept saying police officer. Yeah.
Philip Baker Hall, shout out. But he
that's what rich people do. They get private investigators.
Yeah, that's especially in the 50s.
Yeah.
But no, he said that they were pretty suspicious that Dickie was the one going around murdering people because Dickie almost killed a kid at Princeton.
But he says something about Ripley and what he was doing around that time or something.
He said, look, we know you weren't. We know you just worked there.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah,
I was like, what was his... He
worked in the music department as like a piano cleaner or something like that, but he wasn't a student.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting because I wonder if he knew anything about Dickie. I mean, that's one of those things that's like, if you were in school and something like that happened on campus, like you would hear about it.
There would be rumors.
Yeah, you would hear about the rich kid that like choked a kid out and almost killed him. Like you would know about that. Which is interesting because it's kind of like, has he been formulating this plan the whole time? Like, did he go to that party that was for the parents? Like, did he do that on purpose? Did he wear the Princeton jacket on purpose, knowing that the dad would talk to him? I don't know. It's just a lot of...
Another reason to read the book. Yeah,
it's a lot of small things that could have been tied together in his brain from the very start. Yeah, it's just... There's a lot of metaphor about classes and men's behavior and stuff like that throughout the movie, which is always entertaining. So I guess that's really it. I thought it was interesting the way that it all ends up happening. It does leave you wondering whether or not he gets caught in the end. Because, I don't know. Do you feel like he just ends up being with Meredith or something?
But I don't understand how that would work out because he could never go back to America.
Yeah.
He could never have a wedding. Well, he
could easily pull her back away from America because she's like so obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Then she would just kill him. He would just kill her. But
I feel like that's probably the real answer. He ends up having to kill her.
Yeah. And then he just stays in Italy, I feel like.
And then he runs away again, and then everybody just says Dickie Greenleaf killed Meredith Logue. And he lives his life as Tom Ripley, and he's off scot-free.
Yeah, I guess so.
Except Gwyneth Paltrow probably kills him at some point.
Oh my god, yeah. I would have.
She probably hired like a private
assassin. I wouldn't have killed him, but I would have been like, you're not getting away with this, buddy old pal.
I probably would have stabbed him while he slept when I was staying at his apartment. Should we explain the scoring system now?
Yeah, I think so. Just because it's new. So, initially we started doing our ratings on a scale from 1 to 5, which was a little bit confusing. So now we're switching it around a little bit to account for how much we liked the movie and enjoyed the movie, and also how likely we are to watch it again. We're putting it into 2 different scoring spots so that we can have a total. So obviously a higher score means that you loved it and would watch it again.
So it's 2 scales of 1 to 5 added together to make a score out of 10.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Because those are the 2 things that we're hoping for the most when we show each other movies.
Yeah.
If they enjoyed it.
He's had a little dream.
Oh yeah, he is.
Old legs are kicking.
He's gonna kick me probably in a second.
Yeah, so my enjoyment scale, I mean, this is a...
Is it a 10?
I think it's technically a 9 because it's a 5 for me on my enjoyment, but
You loved it?
It's a 4 on my rewatch because I don't think I would want to watch this movie all the time, if that makes sense.
I think I'd have to say mine's the same.
I didn't think you would give it that high of a...
Yeah, I think mine's a 9 as well. I really loved it. I really enjoyed the movie. I like that feeling of like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to get in trouble, but I don't know when. And then he never gets in trouble. And then I obviously I think, well, not obviously, but I definitely would watch it again. I think, I don't think I would rewatch it at any time. I feel like I'd have to be in the right mind space to watch it.
Yeah.
But I definitely, I would love to rewatch it probably in like another year or 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I think
maybe even less. I don't know.
I think this is a once a year movie for me.
The acting's so great in it.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful, set movie.
Yeah.
So it's just it's beautiful to watch. It's really great performances.
Yeah.
And I mean, every time you kind of forget 1 or 2 details every time you watch it. You're like, oh my god, I forgot he does that.
I also feel like it would be interesting to watch it kind of cyclically, because I feel like while I was watching it I could think of so many things that definitely pulled inspiration from this movie. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it probably comes in cycles of different shows and stuff that use this movie and plot points as inspiration for their work.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about White Lotus while we were watching it, but I think if you enjoyed this movie and you haven't seen White Lotus, you should definitely check that out. Oh, yeah,
for sure.
The one
very similar feelings.
I was thinking of Gone Girl for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think White Lotus and Gone Girl are probably the 2 closest to the tone of this movie.
I thought of something else while we were watching it, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, but I just... I love this movie. I'm glad we got to watch it. I'm glad you loved it too.
Me too.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this podcast and you want to support us, the best thing you can do is to tell a friend that you enjoyed this podcast. Share it with others. You don't have to post on social media.
No, you can. We would love if you did.
We would love it if you did.
Please.
But at the very least, just tell somebody you know that likes movies about us. We'd love that. If you haven't already, please give us a rating and a review wherever you're listening to your podcast.
Yeah. Give us a rating. Follow us on social medias, etc. We've got one of everything. Little Instagram, little TikTok. We're trying to keep those active, but we've got social lives as well. So we're trying
busy people.
Trying to do all that, and we're also in our 20s, so trying to just stay afloat in general, but we're working on it. Yeah, and we have a new episode every Wednesday. We're going to maybe switch to a little bit different setup for in terms of coming out with we might switch to putting out 4 episodes a week. Okay. We might switch to still having 4 episodes a month, so 1 a week, but we might switch to having a couple of them being reviews of more recent films that are critically acclaimed or ones we just want to see and like chatting about those. So those might be slightly shorter episodes, just kind of delving into what we enjoyed about some newer films that are out right now.
Yeah.
And then having 2 other ones be our normal picking movies for each other episodes.
Yeah, these episodes just take a lot of time, and we're busy people.
We're busy people. But anyways, please join us next week as I force Robert to watch Blue is the Warmest Color.
Oh my God. Another gay movie.
A movie for the gays. Movie for the gays. A movie for those of us that didn't know they were gay and then realized they were maybe a little gay.
Man, maybe I'm a little gay.
Maybe I'm a little gay. And then I figured it out as I got older. We're also already totally aware of some of the controversy around this movie. Just want to say that real quick because we'll probably chat about it in the upcoming episode. But we know about some of the mistreatment of the actors, etc., which is very unfortunate, and I don't condone that in any way. Neither of us do. But this definitely was a really important film to me when I was younger, so I do want to take a second to rewatch it and chat with Robert about it because he has not seen it yet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening all the way through, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Catch y'all next week. Bye-bye.